to another decoupage tutorial, this time a cute Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus ornament. I used a plastic medallion for this project. I painted the medallion twice with classic white paint and I let it dry between each layer. I am using Decoupage Glue, but of course you can use Mod Podge. I used water pen to cut out the design out of rice paper. I never use scissors for this because I don't like the way it looks. Then I tear up the edges of the rice paper so it will fit better to the ornament. I applied some decoupage glue on the ornament and then I put the rice paper on and then I glue with some more glue the rice paper on it. Let it dry. Then I painted the ornament with some paints to blend it better. These two colors I use. You can use whatever paints you want for your project. Never be afraid to even go with some paints into the rice paper itself. Then I apply some white dots onto the ornament. For this, all you need is water, white paint, and a small brush. Let it all dry. I sealed the image with pouring glaze. Of course, you can use varnish as well. I applied 4 layers of the glaze to give my ornament a glass look and let it dry between each layer. On the other side of the ornament, I use air drying clay, some stems, and some molds. Roll out your clay and make sure it is pretty thin before you are applying it to the ornament because otherwise it will crack upon you by drying. I used a stem to put on the clay to give my Santa ornament a more Christmassy look. Press the stem very good into the clay. To apply the clay onto the ornament, I use express glue from Pentart. Of course, you can use whatever glue you have. Apply the glue onto the ornament and then carefully apply the clay onto the ornament. Make sure you don't ruin your design. Then cut any excess of the clay from the ornament. Here are the molds I used for this ornament because I thought they go well with the theme I was going for. Glue them onto the ornaments. Don't be afraid to experiment which way you wanna put the clay on. Until it's dry, you can still remove it and put it in another place. I roll out a little bit of clay for a stem saying. Again, make sure it is pretty thin, otherwise it will crack upon you, and then apply a little bit of pressure to the stem so you will have a nice saying onto the clay. Glue it on the ornament, but be careful by gluing it so you don't ruin your stem saying. Let your clay dry before painting it so you don't ruin your design. After the clay was dry, I painted it with only one color, and the color was beige. To give a little bit of pop-up color, I use these paints. After everything was dry, I sealed it with matte varnish. Of course, you can use glossy one as well, but I thought for my design, the matte varnish looks better. Let it dry. For a little bit of frosty look, I used Arctic Snow from Stamperia and I added a little bit of glitter to it as well. Apply the frosty look with a sponge and before it's dry, apply a little bit of the glitter on top of it. The last step is optional, but I like to apply a little bit of 3D touch to my ornaments, so I use this 3D red Decor pen and this snow crystal pen to put a little bit of accent to my ornament. Let it all dry. And here it is all finished, a cute Santa Claus with Mrs. Claus ornament. How do you like it? Please let me know in the comments. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.